بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله نستعينه ونستغفر ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا بين يدي الساعة من يطع الله ورسوله فقد رشد ومن يعصهما فإنه لا يضر إلا نفسه ولا يضر الله شيئا فقد قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ربي زدني علما سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم. My dear audiences and my dear friends, brothers and sisters, and those who are watching through Facebook from home and abroad, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. It is a great pleasure for me to attend this Tafsirul Qur'an Mahfil, and for this reason, at the very beginning, at the commencement of this Tafsirul Qur'an Mahfil, I would like to express my deep gratitude to the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by saying, Alhamdulillah, all praises are for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inshallah, in today's Tafsirul Qur'an Mahfil, we shall have a discussion on verse number 81 to 82 of Suratu Maryam from the Holy Qur'an. So as usual, at first we shall go to the recitation as well as meaning of these two verses, two ayats of Suratu Maryam. Then inshallah we shall go to the elaborate discussion. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة ليكونوا لهم عزا كلا سيكفرون بعبادتهم ويكونوا عليهم ضدا صدق الله العلي العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi, Subhanallahil azim, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin abdika wa rasulik. I seek refuge, I seek shelter to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the accursed devil, from the accursed shaitan, and I am beginning with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is most merciful, most beneficent. وَاتَّخَذُوا مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ آلِهَةً لِيَكُونُوا لَهُمْ عِزًّا. O the non-believers of Islam, you have accepted creators instead of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so that they will help you. Kalla, never. Sayakfuruna bi'ibadatihim. Very soon they will deny your worship. وَيَكُونُوا عَلَيْهِمْ ضِدًّا, and they will take stand against you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said the truth, and His prophets and messengers have also said the truth, and we are among the witnesses. All praises are for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All praises are for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the greatest. O Allah, bless your prophet and servant, Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this was the recitation as well as meaning of verse number 81 and 82 of Suratu Maryam. In these two verses, Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has categorically stated that the non-believers of Islam, they used to worship other creators instead of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Suppose the Hindus, they used to worship the countless, innumerous idols and images. The Buddhists, they used to worship the Gautam Buddha. The Jews, they are making partner with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by saying that Hazrat Jubair alayhi salam is the son of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Na'udzu billahi min zalik. The Christians, they are making partner, they are associating partner with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by saying that Isa ibn Maryam is the son of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Na'udzu billahi min zalik. And another group of Christians, they used to claim that Isa ibn Maryam himself is the God. Na'udzu billahi min zalik. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in ayat number 81 and 82, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is categorically stating that, O the non-believers of Islam, you are worshipping other creator, other things instead of me, Allah is saying. But the false creators will deny your worship on the day of judgment, and on the day of judgment they will take stand against you. So it is crystal clear for the non-believers of Islam. In other verses, in other ayats, soon we shall find that the non-believers of Islam, they used to worship the other things instead of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on the hope that on the day of judgment they will help them. Na'udzu billahi min zalik. So it is clear declaration of Islam that the false creators, the false gods who are being worshipped by the people of this world instead of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, these false creators, false gods will have no power on the day of judgment to do any good for them. Now inshallah we shall go to the other ayats from the Holy Qur'an of different surahs. Those are relevant in today's tafsir. First relevant ayat in today's tafsir is ayat number 48 from Suratu Nisa. In ayat number 48, Suratu Nisa, Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَغْفِرُ أَن يُشْرَكَ بِهِ وَيَغْفِرُ مَا دُونَ ذَلِكَ لِمَن يَشَاءُ وَمَن يُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ فَقَدِ افْتَرَىٰ إِثْمًا عَظِيمًا. Inna Allah la yaghfiru. Obviously, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not forgive them. Ayyushraka bihi. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not forgive them who used to associate partner, who used to join partner, who used to make partner with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَيَغْفِرُ مَا دُونَ ذَلِكَ لِمَن يَشَاءُ. Otherwise, besides this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may forgive anyone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may forgive everyone. Those Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will desire. وَمَن يُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ فَقَدْ افْتَرَىٰ إِثْمًا عَظِيمًا. Those who have associated partner, who have joined partner, who have made partner with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they themselves have involved them in a great sin. So in verse number 48, Suratu Nisa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has clearly said that the sin in which partners have been made with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this sin will not be forgiven by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That means, if a person dies without accepting Islam, there is no chance for him to be admitted in the heaven. This was verse number 48. Another verse number 116. Same utterances have been made by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In also, as verse number 48, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in verse number 116. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying here, Inna Allah la yaghfiru an yushraka bihi wa yaghfiru ma duna dhalika liman yasha. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not forgive him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not forgive them who associate partner with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Otherwise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may forgive anyone as he desires, as he wishes. وَمَن يُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ فَقَدْ ضَلَّ ضَلَالًا بَعِيدًا. Those who have made partner with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are most misguided. They are very far from the right way. So, associating partner, making partner, joining partner with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the heinous offense. That offense will not be forgiven by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This was verse number 116. In verse number 48 and 116 of Suratu Nisa, Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala categorically stated that the offense of making partner with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not be forgiven by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As I have just said, that if a person dies without accepting Islam, suppose a Christian has died, a Jew has died, a Hindu has died, a Buddhist has died, a Qadiani has died, or a person of any other religion has died, he or she will be thrown in the fire. There is no chance for him to be admitted in the heaven. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying the same thing in verse number 72, Suratul Ma'idah. In verse number 72, Suratul Ma'idah, in first portion of verse number 72, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving reply of the Christians. Because the Christian used to claim that Isa ibn Maryam himself is the God, Nauzubillahi min zalik. And another group of Christians claim that Isa ibn Maryam is the son of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Nauzubillahi min zalik. Here in verse number 72, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is replying in the first part of verse number 72. لَقَدْ كَفَرَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الْمَسِيحُ ابْنُ مَرْيَمَ وَقَالَ الْمَسِيحُ يَا بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ رَبِّي وَرَبَّكُمْ. Obviously, the non-believers of Islam used to say that Isa ibn Maryam is the God. Isa ibn Maryam is the creator. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is answering. وَقَالَ الْمَسِيحُ, Isa ibn Maryam himself has said, Ya Bani Israel. Hazrat Isa ibn Maryam himself said to his tribe, to his people, to his community, وَقَالَ الْمَسِيحُ يَا بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ رَبِّي وَرَبَّكُمْ. Isa ibn Maryam himself said, O Bani Israel, O the people of Bani Israel, worship for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because He is my creator and He is also your creator. So, the false claim of the Christians that Isa ibn Maryam himself is the creator, it is baseless. Because Isa ibn Maryam himself said during his lifetime, Isa ibn Maryam made invitation. Isa ibn Maryam invited his people to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is my creator and He is also your creator. So, the claim of the Christians that Isa ibn Maryam was himself God, Nauzubillah min zalik, it is a false claim. And it amounts to make partner with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in the second portion of verse number 72, Suratul Ma'idah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is clearly declaring that Innahu man yushrik billahi faqad harrama Allahu alayhi al-jannah wa ma'wahu nar. Those who have made partner, those who have associated partner, those who have joined partner with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, heaven is prohibited for them, and they will be the inhabitant of fire. Wa ma'wahun nar, they will be the inhabitants of fire. Wa ma liz-zalimina min ansar, and when they will be thrown in the fire, there they shall not find anyone to help them. There they shall not find any helper for them. No one will go there to rescue them from the fire except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Next relevant, this was the verse number 72, Suratul Ma'idah, relevant in today's tafsir. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is Ayat number 14 from Suratul An'am. Ayat number 14, Suratul An'am. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, قُلْ أَغَيْرَ اللَّهِ أَتَّخِذُ وَلِيًّا فَاطِرِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَهُوَ يُطْعِمُ وَلَا يُطْعَمُ قُلْ إِنِّي أُمِرْتُ أَنْ أَكُونَ أَوَّلَ مَنْ أَسْلَمَ وَلَا تَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying His Prophet, O Prophet, tell the non-believers of Islam, أَغَيْرَ اللَّهِ أَتَّخِذُ وَلِيًّا, shall I associate partner with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the creator of the skies and who is the creator of the heavens and the earths, who feed us, who does not require any food. And he is saying, O Prophet, tell the non-believers also that Inni umiritu an akuna awwala man aslama. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has directed me to be the first who have accepted Islam. وَلَا تَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. And I had been prohibited among those who are non-believers of Islam, who are making partner with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has directed His Prophet to become the first among the Muslims. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has directed His also Prophet not to be among with those who make partner, who are associating partner, not to be with them. Don't go there. That means I used to always say from this Tafsirul Qur'an Mahfil, that Tawheed is the main element, main substance, main teachings of Islam. Tawheed is the main teaching